I think every leader should know Doctors John and Julia Gottman of the Gottman Institute, the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse, which is 4 communication faux pas that is like the end of times in any relationship, romantic or in business. The first one is criticizing. Wait, the only time I hear from you is when you're telling me my code for this SEO is not good? You know? That's the only time I hear from you is when I'm doing stuff wrong. The second one is stonewalling, which means you just ghost people. You just like how you deal with conflict, you just avoid and ignore. The third one is getting defensive. Anytime someone has a need or a feedback, like you put it back on them and just start to gaslight them. But the fourth one is the most damaging, is contempt. Like, I'm better than you. I don't have time for this, or I'm above all that you, or, you know, that the size or the eye rolls or the, you know, that just erodes trust, which is the ultimate currency in leadership. So question to reflect is, when you're leading or working with a team member, doesn't matter what level is, how do people experience you? What does their nervous system do when they see your face? Or when they feel your presence? Like, are you safe? Are you a light? Do you bring energy, or do you take energy? Because they've been conditioned to believe that this isn't safe for me because I'm going to get criticized, or I'm going to feel contempt from them. There's going to be either, you know, a repercussion because I didn't do something right, and then my production drops, my authenticity drops. I do either quiet quitting, or I eventually quit. Or I'm hurt and I, like a virus, affect everyone on my team because I'm miserable. Like attracts like.
What is a mindset coach, Collin Henderson?
Well, let's first define what mindset is. And thanks for having me, Jason. Really honored to be on the show. Awaken Out of Context. Let's get awake. Let's think differently. Let's expand our horizons mentally, emotionally, and what is possible. So, great place to start is defining mindset. Mindset, by definition, is a conditioned set of beliefs that drive behavior. So there's really 3 key words that I want to hone in on in what we call doing the work. It's conditioned. Jason, you up in the Lake District near Manchester, Northern England, in the UK, man, you've been conditioned since birth by what you see, hear, and experience.
Uh-huh.
You've been conditioned by your friends, what you've watched, what your parents. I mean, your adult relationships is a window into your childhood. I mean, you've been watching, observing, and you've been conditioned to believe certain things about yourself, about the world, about your potential, about life, about other humans. You've been conditioned to believe that flows into your behaviors. So you've been behaving a certain way, how you speak, how you show up, the actions you take, that's been influenced by what you've been conditioned to believe. Do you think our brain tells the truth?
No, I think it makes a best guess.
Yeah. Well,
the information that it's given.
I was fascinated by this stat that Dr. Joe Dispenza, like neuroscientist researcher, has written a lot of good books. So I'm going to drop some books today. A book that I prescribe a lot is You Are the Placebo by Dr. Joe Dispenza. Really what you believe.
Mm-hmm.
And his research shows that 35 to 50% of our memories are untrue. That's interesting. And then research from the National Science Foundation, 80% of human thoughts are negative and 95% of human thoughts are reoccurring. So just baseline, your brain is wired for negativity. You're storing what I call trauma, drama, daddy, and mama shit. And these neural pathways are forming this identity or this construct of like mindset. Mindset. It's been programmed to believe certain things that's influencing your behaviors. So mindset coaching is, man, let's just be an observer of some harmful patterns. on how you talk to yourself, what you think about, shame, regret, guilt, fear, what you're projecting. Pain that's not properly processed gets projected. So it's kind of unlearning what you've learned, but it's really being a really thoughtful, compassionate, kind observer of hurt, of loss, because the brain keeps a scoreboard of all your failures. There's very little evolutionary benefit to remember your wins. It's more your brain's wired, your amygdala, your limbic system is like your trauma stored in the body, your nervous system. And so it's just like recycling hurt, and it's projecting fear. And what's interesting about the brain is the brain and the body cannot tell the difference between what is real and what is imagined.
Mhm.
And we say up to 70,000 conscious thoughts per day. But what Carl Jung taught us is what is not conscious becomes your fate. So when you are just with yourself, what do you think about? When you wake up, what do you think about? When you're in this dream state, what is your subconscious like processing? And then you wake up, and we got to awaken out of context. We got to, we have one life to live. So a great question to consider when you have an unproductive thought is just to be an observer and start to notice. And is that thought true, said by who?
Mm.
Because when things aren't clear in your life, the brain creates stories. And I'm guessing your brain is naturally wired to do a Stephen King horror film versus a Colleen Hoover rom-com story. So
Me?
mindset,
Oh,
I
the audience.
don't know, all of us, we all, man, we all. So I think, so mindset coaching is, how do you stop stopping yourself, and how do you proactively, I call it prehab. So mental conditioning is prehab. You don't have to be broken to get better. Having daily systems like you would train your body or you train your business skills, let's train our mental emotional skills. And when you look at
Mm.
leadership, business, high performance, sales, band, music, choir, debate, horse riding, botany, it doesn't even matter what you're doing. You are training your craft, but what are you doing to train your mind to activate those skills? Skills like self-awareness, mindfulness, present moment focus, confidence, belief, resilience, courage, how to navigate through fear, how to respond quickly to adversity, challenge, change, having, activating values, and how to live an authentic place. And when I travel the world really training organizations, a simple question, especially with salespeople or any role, like, give me the traits of your top employees. And they're like, hardworking or humble or gritty or passionate or curious, kind, compassionate. I was like, what do you do to train those? You're not training those, but they're the most important things that you talk about in your business, but you just talk about spreadsheets. Interesting. Wouldn't it be nice to like really, if people are your most important asset, wouldn't it be nice to like really take that really expensive investment? And the biggest threat to global companies is not what's, the great resignation, after COVID, people want to work remote, people are quitting, people are following, whatever. The biggest threat to our production and the workforce is quiet quitting. They're showing up to work, but they're in, as you said in our pre-call, monk mode, just holding up and isolating. And they're just passing through, not activating curiosity, passion, servant oriented, growth, courage. So I've just found that these conversations is what really drives impact. And I'm excited to see that more and more organizations are finally catching on.
Practically, what does that look like when you go into an organization?
I think leaders need a lot of help, because normally you get hired at some role and you have a good performance and you get promoted to leadership. And even though you know how to do a certain task, no one's taught you about neuroscience, behavior science, motivation. Um, Google has research called the Aristotle, I guess, study. They looked at what's the number one employee need, and that is psychological safety. So we have a bunch of leaders who are creating trauma and drama in their employees because they don't know how to lead. So for me, a simple thing is, man, let's love on our leaders, because they're getting it from who they're managing, and then they're getting it from above, and they've been promoted because of performance, but no one's taught them how to perform as a leader, how to lead people, how to connect, how to create empathy and vulnerability and accountability, all these things, these words that we all know, but like, how do you coach it?
Mm.
So, again, the business stuff, but you don't know the psychological stuff. That's where I would start.
Yeah, and like you say, it seems that everything is totally changed since COVID. Like, I think managing an organization in person versus doing it online
Hmm.
are like almost two entirely different skills,
Hmm.
you know? Like, cause I lead a team and yeah, I have to stop myself sometimes to like get on the phone, talk to them because you can end up just like siloed off, like in spreadsheet mode and whatever. Because the cool thing about working remotely is you can get a lot done. You can get a lot done focused. But the problem with that is then you start to devalue the human conversations with your team members because it doesn't feel scalable.
A foundation of leadership and culture. So we define mindset as a conditioned set of beliefs that drive behavior. And that conditioning, our beliefs are not based on truth, but our perception of the truth. So mindset is like, let's really unpack these 6 inches between your ears, this 3-pound mass. And what are the patterns? What are the untrue patterns? What patterns do you want to create and form? Let's go to the mind gym and work on that. But culture, by definition, is the way we do things. And that can be random or it can be by design. When there are two people working for a common goal, there's going to be culture, whether you like it or not. How you deal with conflict, communicate, standards, systems, ways of working. Um, so I think part of it is this, and I usually start with mindset and I work on like cultural leadership. Because, like I said earlier, pain that's not properly processed gets projected. So leadership is a transfer of energy. So if you're not right mentally, emotionally, you're going to be projecting some of those hurts, some of those fears, some of that trauma stuff that you've experienced onto those around you. So we had to get you right. And then let's have a game plan on the way we do things. How do we, like I just mentioned, how do we lead, serve, get curious, connect? So I would say foundationally in leadership is connection before correction.
Mm,
If I don't know you as a human, if I don't know your why, your backstory, what motivates you, what gets you excited, really know your strengths, double down and playing to your strengths. But a few questions every leader should ask anybody they're working with is, aside from who are you, and obviously complimenting and seeing where they do well, and acknowledging that and consoling when they're having rough times, but like, why do you do this job? Like, why'd you apply for this job? Like, what are you looking for? But the second question is like, what is your goal? What are you trying to achieve? And like, what are some obstacles that are facing that you're facing in that quest of, you know, fulfilling your why and your goal? Why, goal, obstacles. Those are so simple questions that most leaders come in and they have a goal that they have to hit. So everything is from how they're being evaluated. But the who we're leading, like our most important customer is who we're leading. We're actually we're serving them. So, and I love this thought from Mary Kay. People support what they help build. So get them engaged in the process on the goal of the organization, but like, what is your personal goal that aligns with that goal, and just have deep connection. And I think a great question any leader or partner could ask is, what are your needs?
mm.
Common
It,
sense is a common practice. Just because something doesn't mean it's easy. I mean, I feel like I'm Captain Obvious, but leaders and organizations don't talk like this.
mhm. No, I think it's good because I think leaders in general have so many spinning plates and so many things that they feel they have to do that it can be hard to pick out the thing. And I suppose by looking at, well, okay, if we've got team members, we need to prioritize that. Like you say, what's the point in investing in team members if you're not going to absolutely prioritize them? And then having that one kind of thing of just knowing. And it's interesting because, like, when we jumped on the beginning of the call, you're the first person that's ever like interviewed me beforehand. Who's Jason? You know, you wanted to understand me before we went into this call, which tells me this is clearly something that you're just so drilled into doing that you do it all the time, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I think people, this is such a cliche, but people don't care about what you know until you know that you care about them. And this is what I call targeted coaching.
Mm,
Targeted coaching. So I did, after graduate school at Washington State University, I did fundraising. Then I got into pharmaceuticals for 6 years. I was in neurology and respiratory. My last stop was in oncology. And they were starting to uncover a really cool finding in treating cancer was called targeted therapy. They're able to find the source of the cancer, really attack that part instead of doing chemotherapy, it just kills everything.
mhm,
How many leaders go in and they do like a one size fits all model without like getting to know who that person is? Everyone's kind of different, you know? Everyone has similar needs, but so if I can teach you my framework from your lens, it's going to make more sense to you. And I'm going
mm,
to serve you better because I've done the work of connection before correction. Mary Poppins had a great quote, well begun is half done. Starting from understanding where they came from, what their hurts are, what their needs are, what their goals are, and just being a great partner that cares about people.
mm.
People don't leave jobs, people leave people.
If you're anything like me, you're probably good at starting habits, but fail to stick to them over the long term. There's probably one or two, whether that be going to the gym or taking the dog for a walk, but struggle to maintain others around career, relationship, or life goals. If you're a long-term listener of the podcast, this won't be the first time you've heard me talk about habits and leveraging public accountability. That's why I created Indiip, the tool that helps you build healthy habits and stick to them. After creating your free account, you'll be given your own personal public profile link, which you can share with your friends, your family, coach, or followers. And when someone clicks that link, you'll be given a real-time notification that someone is watching your habits. I can't tell you how much of a motivator it is when you're stuck in a procrastination cycle and this little eyeball pops up with a number next to it. My productivity has gone through the roof since I started using it. It's that effective. Luckily for you, I'm giving away 100 free VIP months to my podcast listeners. There's no credit card required. Head to indiip.com/podcast. That's deep with two I's, indiip.com/podcast, or follow the links in the episode description below. Let's start crushing our habits today. The body has limits, but the mind is limitless. What does that mean?
It means that you never outperform your self image. Our limits begin where our vision ends. And we physically are limited to what we can do. But mentally, there is no limit where we can go. I think about who would have thought that this device we have now with the screen can do all these cool things, visually and call and text and apps and stuff. Like who would imagine you can bend iron and it flies up in the sky, There's just so many things that we've created as human beings. Like there are no limits to what we can do. So I think, and I work with a lot of athletes too. Like you physically are limited, like how much you can squat. But any given Sunday, if you're supporting Manchester United, you know, there's different things. Like every single time there's a match, we see things we've never seen before,
Mm,
like movement or passing or scoring or defending. Like And the most successful performers, they're in a flow state. Like they're not judging, not critiquing. There's no sense of time. The activities are not the outcome. So I just think we put so many man-made limits on ourselves. Is that thought true? Said by who? Who said that we can't do that? I was in Hershey, Pennsylvania with the organization with a group of leaders that's launching a new product. And one of the first things we did is let's just stop limiting ourselves with language. Language is the wardrobe of our beliefs. So when we verbalize, sales team can't do that, market not here, customers don't like this, blah, blah, they just made it like you are limiting yourself. Like never tell your daughter she's a picky eater. You're conditioning her to believe that I don't like food. You may have heard people say, I always forget names. I'm not a morning person. I'm horrible with directions. Like you've defeated yourself. So let's find how we're talking shit to ourselves. Thoughts become things. It begins before it begins. Energy flows where focus goes. Let's reframe these things into more of a growth mindset so we can become limitless. You just put limits on yourself. Man-made limits. Who says you can't access that account? There's probably some things you haven't tried.
Yeah. How do you approach assessing someone's mental state or mindset?
I love this thought from old dead French dude Voltaire is, don't judge a person by their answers, judge them by their questions. And to me, the first foundational pillar of mindset training or mental skills or mental conditioning is self-awareness. What's interesting about the brain, man, it's super private. Jason, I can't get in your brain. I can't. But I can ask some questions to get you to be reflective. And a lot of times, self-awareness, there is healing. So there are 4 levels of what's called competence. Level 1 is unconscious incompetence. I don't know what I don't know. Level 2 is conscious incompetence. I'm aware of what I don't know. Level 3 is unconscious competence. I'm good, but I don't know why. I want to get to consciously competent. I'm successful and I know why, and I can duplicate and I can scale it. So a few things I do early on to assess mindset, and as I do my like framework, is number one is just talk about where's your focus most of the time. You know, your focus can be in past, present, or future. Like, do you spend more time dwelling on, like, shame or regret? Or are you more like future fear-based thinker? Like, are you more worried about what can go wrong? And what has conditioned that? What experience I really need to know what has conditioned you to have your mind go to those places? And then kind of start to notice those things. And mindfulness is the practice of self-awareness to being present without judgment. So it's really this practice of being aware and then coming back present. Like that to me is like a great, but let's unpack like, hey, what experiences are making you feel shame? Where are some things that make you feel regret or making you feel fear, like future-based thinker, like what if? And then I like to ask, maybe I'll ask you, Jason, should we do a session with you?
Sure. Let's do it.
So here's the question.
Yeah.
Assess your last month to 2 to 3 months. Month to, what is that? Q3? We're just starting Q4 right now. So
Yeah.
think of Q3. So September, August, July. Where does your mind go most of the time? Are you more like looking back? You've been through some stuff in your life, or you're you know you run an agency, so like Google, I mean, you run an agency, or so you like projection numbers, like where do you find your mind, past, present, future?
I think I'm pretty good at being present on whatever I'm focusing on, whichever project it may be in the day. I think probably I don't really dwell on the past. I've done a lot of work on myself and
Mm.
therapy, etc., which has helped with that. I think probably I probably am thinking a lot about future goals and where I will end up. So, although I am present, I probably spend a lot of my time daydreaming about what could be in my dream life, you know?
There's nothing wrong with that. I think that you're describing a mental skill that we teach is how to visualize.
Mm,
Mental imagery is a evidence-based way to create neural pathways and create clarity and confidence. So I just think that'd be something to look at, like where's your focus? And then if you notice your mind in an unproductive past or unproductive future, just gently come back to the present moment. Every time you do that, it's like doing bicep curls for your focus.
mm. Yeah, I think like 10 years of meditation as well has helped with that. I think I probably don't have like a good I I'll do a bit of visualization and then I'll stop and then I kind of I think there's so many different things that I could be doing with whether it's positive visualization, negative visualization, which I've used before, which is really good. General mindfulness, whatever. Like, there's so many different things that we could be doing. So I feel like sometimes I think I need more constraints on the different mental models or
Mm.
processes that I put in place, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think that's just interesting thing to just maybe like, and you can journal that this week. Like, where do I find my mental energy going? And there's some new neuroscience, brain science on what's called the default mode network. It's kind of a different parts of the brain that are kind of collectively working together when you're in times of like idleness. Like, where does your brain go when you're not assigned a task to really monofocus on? Are you drifting into what you didn't do or what you did and you regret it? Or are you wandering, catastrophizing, or you're playing that kind of what if game? I'll be happy when, or you know, someday itis, like I'll be happy when that happens.
I think most of
Instead,
the time I'm just thinking about new ideas.
yeah, I think that's good too. I think that's good too. So, but the thing about I work with like high level athletes and
Mm,
salespeople and leaders who have to perform on the X. So it's just
mm,
like the holy grail of performance is in the present moment. Research from Dr. Ken Rizzo at a Cal State Fulton, rest in peace. Peak performers spend 80% more of their time in the present moment. And I
mm,
think there's different ways you can do that. It's just set an intention every day. And when you notice your mind unproductively wandering, you get to snap back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. You just get back to the present moment. And that's just like simple practice is to just to be where your feet are and have compassion and you know, just the best stuff is always like dogs are a great model of that. I mean, they're always
mm.
present. So the next thing would be, adding up to 100%. If you look at a scale, like what percent would your self-talk be positive versus negative? Like how you communicate to yourself.
Hmm.
Do you lean positive, lean negative? Not
I
sure.
probably lean positive, I would say. Like maybe 65, 70 positive, and then the rest maybe less negative. Like I just sometimes catch myself like, I don't know, just like, "Oh, you fucking idiot," or whatever, and I'll
Mm.
go, "Whoa." Like, to, like, be a little bit kinder to myself. Um, yeah, like, fairly positive or but maybe I don't know. Yeah,
How do you describe yourself to others? What like positive traits do you describe yourself to others?
what positive trait? Um, Reflective, funny, uh, quite silly, uh, Not right now because I'm in podcast mode, so I'm like this. So I mean, like,
why can't we be silly during podcast
it's a
mode,
really
man?
good it's a really good point, man. Like, and it's something, to be fair, like I've had to I think I went through like this like phase in my life of being like super silly, fucking around in my 20s, you know, traveling around, getting drunk. Then
Mhm,
like this whole okay, we need to sort our shit out now. We need to stop drinking. We need
mhm,
to do this and that. And I think during that process, I probably lost a lot of like the fun side of me because I was
mm,
like felt like I was having a good. I can't have fun. Do you know what I mean? Like I had all my
mm,
fun in my 20s, being silly or whatever. And then I think it's something I've had to bring back in recently. And actually, what's been really beautiful, like a recent friendship has just sort of like blossomed with me and my friend Kaylee. Shout out to Kaylee.
mm,
And like, you know, when you're around someone, you're just like, they just totally let you off the fucking leash. And
mm.
both of us together are like fucking crazy, but just
That's
laughing
good.
all the time, joking. You know what I mean? It's really beautiful.
Do you
And
like feeling like that?
it's the best.
Mhm.
It's the
So
best.
yeah, cool. It's
And
good.
and it's just something I'm really grateful for at the moment. And it's fascinating how like the masks we wear and who we are in front of different people, right? And it's
Mhm.
like, why is it that that person is just like unlocked
That's great because you
that?
feel safe. You feel safe and seen. That's why.
Mm, yeah, I can't remember the question now. What were we talking about?
Well, okay. How do you would you just how what are negative things about yourself that you like to describe yourself?
Negative
Hmm.
that I would describe,
I'm
maybe a
not
bit,
good at or.
maybe a bit selfish,
Hmm.
bit self-interested at times.
Hmm.
Uh, a little what's the word? Just like closed off. Sometimes I'm actually a very open person, but I can at times find myself just like, oh, it's me against the world. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
No one understands my goals and my dreams. Like, I don't know. Like,
Hmm.
no one understands what it's like being, I don't know, single and 36 and not having children, blah, 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 you know.
Mm.
So, and I think I can probably get a little bit, uh, just like feeling sorry for myself.
Mm.
And then I close off,
Y-
very
Yeah.
quickly.
Yeah. So how much time are you spending on that part of you versus what you just described, silly and
Yeah. Fucking hell, man. Like, like the real favorite version of me, like the silly daft making jokes,
mhm.
5%.
Okay. Well, can we now we've found an area to work on? Do you think?
Yeah, it sounds like it. It sounds like it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
a few things, I guess, why I hone in on where's your focus and then where's your self talk. Research from the BBC lab in the
Shout out
UK.
BBC.
Shout out 44,000 participants, research led by Andrew Lane. They found that self talk is the number one driver of confident action. Your inner dialogue. It's like code. It's coding. Do you remember
Mm.
what mindset is? See if you're listening, if you're taking notes, Jason.
What was mindset?
Yeah.
How are we being conditioned
Mm-hmm.
and
Conditioned.
how our mind is set.
Conditioned set of beliefs to drive behavior. Guess what is conditioning your beliefs is language.
Mhm. Mhm.
The brain thinks in four dimensions. A word creates the picture the brain sees, emotion the body feels, a belief that your
Mm.
soul or subconscious, holds on to. The number one driver of behavior, according to research from the author of Atomic Habits, James Clear, is identity. So guess what's coding that identity is what you're labeling or describing yourself to be. So how much time are you coding with words? Words are tools. Words are our wand. Like Harry Potter, words create worlds. Words create wars. Some call it spelling, and yet you spell, using words to spell. You're casting a spell on your nervous system, on your subconscious. This is from Earl Nightingale. You become what you think about most of the time, and that is the strangest secret. According to Marcus Aurelius, the quality of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. So is that random or by design? Are you living life by design or by default? Is your thought life and language designed with compassion, with empathy, with hope, with fervor, with joy, with optimism? Or are you prescribing to a line from Demi Lovato, because I got a black belt when I'm beating up on myself?
Yeah.
So shouldn't we maybe have a game plan on how we want to code, or with gratitude, with either productive affirmations rooted in truth, not Pollyanna fake positive, like truth things
What's
about
that mean?
yourself. Research by Dr. Sasha Hines, or the research she's read, I've listened to a lot of her stuff, is like you can give yourself affirmations, but they're not rooted in truth. It can actually backfire. So Dr. Michael Gervais calls this credible confidence. Use self-talk based on truth.
Yeah.
I have been working hard. I have been practicing. I have a network of people who love me. I have been doing a lot of episodes of this podcast. I'm ready to interview some big people. Like I'm in it for the right reasons. I trust myself, to ask questions and be a good listener. Like I've done it before. Or I'm in a new environment. I'm giving myself permission to try something new and fail forward. It begins before it begins. Words are tools. Thoughts become things. Do you have like a niece or a nephew, or do you mentor a young kid or anything like that?
I do have a niece.
When you see your nieces, would you tell her that she's not pretty and she's not smart and she is not good at life?
Absolutely not.
Okay, but will you talk like that to yourself a lot? Maybe not that specifically, but I'm
Yeah.
36, single, no one knows how hard it is, don't know what I've been through. I've wasted some years on blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. I was going to say, I was literally going to be like, I haven't really talked to myself that bad. And then you just told me that I did. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. So focus in your inner dialogue. I would really try to help you create awareness and tools around that. We have a lot of tools around that. And then the third one I think would be, we already covered it, is like, Jason, tell me and describe your thoughts, habits, behaviors, environment, like when you're thriving, when you have energy, when you feel joy, when you are productive, when you're focused. Think of seasons when you were like really productive, like you were executing like on all levels.
Yeah, like every other week.
But this is what I call self-scouting. We spend all of our time studying other people on TikTok and Instagram. We study market dynamics and the competition. We don't study ourselves.
Yeah, I tend to. I personally, I tend to go through. I might do a week good, a week bad, a week good, a week bad, a week, and then actually,
But why? But like, what are the common denominators on the good weeks? What are the common denominators of the bad weeks? So I would, as your mindset coach, I would really try to be a great coach to like, what conditions are creating for you to thrive? Like when you can find some clues, success leaves clues. Describe that.
Yeah. Tidy house.
Okay.
But I'm always.
Could you write down some things that, like, when you're thriving and optimizing, what are the conditions? What's your self-talk like? Who's around? What are your behaviors like? What actions are you taking?
Probably just trust in the process and just doing the shit, doing what I need, doing what's, do you know what I mean? Following the habits, uh, using them as guardrails, and then getting all the other stuff done.
What about the weeks that you're not doing well?
Uh, I always think it seems to be kicked off when when I do that, like if I like the house does get on top of me and gets messy. But then I sometimes wonder, like, is the house messy? I'm in a bad mood because the house is messy, or is the house messy because I'm in a bad mood, right? It's like passing out the difference. I
Mhm.
think sometimes I do live a busy life, and do you know High Rocks?
Mm.
So it's like hybrid, uh, like training, races, or
Okay,
whatever, running and lifting heavy stuff.
okay.
So I do that. I train a lot for that, and then so quite often I'll have an event, and then you have like the classic, just kind of the post event kind of come down afterwards, and then coming
Mhm,
back to the real world, getting on back on board is sometimes takes a few days because your central nervous system is absolutely blown.
mhm.
um, yeah, tough one to identify. I must admit.
Well, I mean, this is what we call the growth inverse.
What's
It's
that
a
mean?
law. If you just stay surface, you're not gonna grow. That your relationship, your skills, um, yourself.
Uh,
Your height will mirror your depth. So if you're not willing to go deep and face your fears and get vulnerable and do the work, you're gonna stay surface.
uh
So that's why, like, mindset training is not for everyone. Like, if you're an adult, you have every right to be average. I'm not the right coach for you. But if you love life and wanna make the most of it and wanna start to take some accountability and stop being a victim and own your shit and forgive yourself, which is really hard. And I think there are two people we should honor, our childlike self and the self when that's our last week on this earth.
What's that mean?
Are you honoring the dreams of your childlike self who was not conditioned by how the world is kinda, a little bit jacked up? Young kids have such a gift of their dreams are limitless. I'm gonna be a playwright. I'm gonna be an astronaut. I'm gonna be the next Ronaldo. I'm gonna be an actress. I'm gonna write. I'll be like Taylor Swift. I'm gonna write music, and then each year they get older, the world tells them you're not talented enough, or it's too difficult, or you get bad feedback, and that strength gets weaker and weaker. And then on your deathbed, like, are you thinking back, like, am I living in regret because I didn't say I'm sorry, or I didn't spend more time with a loved one, or I didn't follow the dreams of my 3-year-old self? So growth inverse is your height will match your depth. So if you want to just keep doing what you're doing, you're not going to grow.
What are the tools, frameworks, habits that you would prescribe to tease out that depth?
Uh, Relationships, number one, who you surround yourself with. Actually, maybe I'll give you. You want a framework? I have a bazillion of them. I've just done a lot of like awareness questions. I haven't given you a ton of like mental drills of
Yeah,
like
let's
self
do it.
talk,
Let's do
visualize.
it. Hit me, man.
All right, so let's just we talk about philosophy. That part, one of your goals, of this podcast for you is to challenge your perspective and your philosophy. Is that right?
Mhm.
Okay. So here's a philosophy question. Does the arrow find the target, or does the target attract the arrow?
Feel like you're gonna say the target attracts the arrow.
Why would you say that? I would say that. Like, what do you believe?
Because my instinct is it's the it's the arrow. So I'm like, must be the opposite.
The inverse of that?
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of people say, yeah, that the arrow finds hard because like you're pulling it and you're directing it and you're shooting it.
Mhm.
And you may have heard of this Buddhist philosophy, attachment is suffering.
Mhm.
We're in a society of what my friend Chris Collin calls outcome junkies. We suffer from destination disease. And how many of us are seeking significance by doing, grinding, achieving? Their self-worth is directly attached and correlated to a result, an outcome, or what you think other people think. We want to train our brain and our nervous system, really. The target attracts the arrow. Let's stop grinding and start aligning. And that target has 3 circles. The bullseye is identity. How do you see yourself? The most powerful force is how you see yourself. You never outperform your self-image. So, um, when I was going to go back and help with focus, self-talk, and behaviors like the conscious calmness, but what's an identity statement you can write down? A drill I do is I call a truth triangle. I have people draw a triangle. Another word for triangle is change. So when there's change in life, like what direction are you going? Let's pick 3 I am words that are going to code your, not just your values, but like who you are. Like I am authentic, I am present, I'm courageous. That's what I tell myself.
Mhm.
So when I'm giving a presentation from 1,000 people, am I going to grade myself on the survey, or was I present? Was I truly authentic to myself? Was I courageous to trust my plan and execute the plan? Was I courageous to really talk less about me and learn more about the audience? Those are my truths, but what I value the outside the triangle, I have a GTAT right here, which is God first, gratitude, give, grow, and have grace.
Mm.
So if words are tools, like I've designed words to help me align with how I show up.
And how would you go about designing them for someone else?
Well, who do you want to be? Draw a triangle and pick 3 words.
It's just 3 words, any, they don't have to be a certain category, just
No, I would just write down like, who do you want to be? Like what mentors do you want to model your behaviors? When you're the happiest, what words describe what you're feeling? How do you want
mm,
people to experience you? How do you want to experience yourself?
mm,
Don't be a wandering generality, be a meaningful specific, says Zig Ziglar. So you get to live by design, not by default. Like, let's just, this is exercise this is a leadership exercise that's like, I can give you a million examples. One is Steve Kerr. I don't know if your listeners are more in the UK than in the States, but Steve Kerr is the head basketball coach for the Golden State Warriors. And before he took that job, his first job, he played under Phil Jackson, has a ton of championships. Greg Popovich, a lot of championships. In college, Arizona, Lute Olson is a national championship coach. He didn't go to them. He went to Pete Carroll in Seattle, who had just won a Super Bowl. Seattle Seahawks, football. And Pete Carroll's like, what's your philosophy? What do you believe as a coach? Like, who are you as a leader? What? Like, why would you not have a compass, an internal compass on how you show up? That doesn't change just based off of what's the current trends in basketball. Like, you're going to stay true to what you believe and you're
mm,
going to coach it. You're going to evaluate it. You're going to celebrate it. So he went to his hotel and wrote down like 30 words, and they came back and they picked words like joy, mindfulness, compassion, and compete. Like those words are going to shape his program. That's the identity of the Golden State Warriors. Joy. Steph Curry plays basketball like he's in 5th grade. Like joy, compassion. Like there's a lot of failure in this sport. Mindfulness. Let's be present. Let's be fully engaged. Compete. The competitors. Let's compete. Like that's what we stand for. So why would you not choose the best version of you and decide who you want to be and work on that every day? So when we talk about where's your focus most of the time, what I wrote down on that one is set an intention. What's my intention today? What's my intention in this podcast? What's my intention when you're going on that first date, Jason? What's my intention, when I leave my house and I'm going to a conference and I'm meeting new people? What's my intention? How do I want to show up? Like decide. The most powerful force is how you see yourself. So if your focus is on your past mistakes and what could go wrong, like you're not present. And then for self-talk, I would write down a few I ams, like I am compassionate. We tend to follow our own beliefs, so write down, this is where you like do that growth inverse. You do some journaling, some reflective work. So that's the center, is your identity. The second circle would be your behaviors, habits and behaviors. So when you were thriving, what were the behaviors that you were doing?
Get up, make my bed, to go for a walk.
But why don't we set some action goals?
How do you mean?
Well, if you're thriving when you do those certain behaviors, my mentor, rest in peace, Trevor Moawad, wrote 2 books. One I suggest is It Takes What It Takes. Is he was working as the mental conditioning coach with the Jacksonville Jaguars, American football. There's their first round draft pick, Fred Taylor. He played 3 years. He was on a contract year. He never played a full season. He was always hurt. He got the nickname Fragile Fred. So Fred is on a contract year. He goes to Trevor, and Trevor's colleague at the time was Chad Bowling, mindset coach for the Jaguars. And he said, I need to get a contract, my second contract, or I'm out of the league. I need to stay healthy. What should I do? So Trevor and Chad did one thing, is they evaluated the entire roster. What were the behaviors of the players that played the entire season? And they found 2 common denominators. The first one was they got to the facility 2 hours early. The second behavior is take an ice bath after practice. So like Fred, we've researched success leaves clues. These are the behaviors of what the healthy people do. And then Fred's like, what do I do for 2 hours? They're like, we don't know. That's what they did. But by getting to the facility at 6 a.m. versus 8 a.m., he'd stop going out drinking. Started to go to bed earlier. His injuries of like soft joint tissue, less of that. He was eating a breakfast. He was in the weight room. He was watching more film. And then the ice bath for inflammation after practice. He played 48 games in a row. He's the all-time leading rusher with Jacksonville Jaguars just by changing 2 habits every day.
Yeah, I'm all about the I feel like sometimes call them like compound habits. Like of a compound exercise where you're hitting all the muscle groups, like a good compound habit. Like, cause I sometimes I can get into the habit of listing off lots of different ones, but I'm like, which of the ones are really moving the needle?
Yeah, I call these your MITs, your most important tasks. Just pick 3. I think I like things in 3s. So what's your identity? Pick some IMs, who your best version of you, and like, let's design that. Let's
Pick
think
some
it
what?
through.
Sorry, IMs.
I am dot, dot, dot.
Sorry,
I
yeah.
am
Yeah.
courageous. I am authentic. or to describe yourself in present tense. One of my mental drills I do is I go through an exercise where my body is, I completely heal my body in my mind. I go through from my brain to my heart, my lungs, all my organs. Man, my prostate is a baller, Jason. Like, I'm good. Like, my
It's like
hamstrings,
body
knees, my
scan,
ankles.
yoga nidra type
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I am connected to God. I'm loved. I am connected to an amazing, life partner. I have amazing children. I'm super connected. I have community. I just visualize, I see and feel this community I'm living life with. I look at, the people I'm impacting, globally, and like the circles I'm in of like service of love. I visualize how much money I want to make each month. This is the science of becoming.
Sorry,
See,
just
feel, believe, do.
when you were
So,
saying that, I'm grateful for my children, etc. Can
mm.
I just check, do you have children, or is that a visualization?
No, we have five.
Yeah.
Father of five. We
Fuck
have five
yeah.
kids, 6 to
Five
13.
kids.
That's why I'm in mental skills, Jason. I need help.
Good job.
But yeah, so that's an exercise of like, I'm thinking like, who am I? I want to like train. I believe in TBT, thoughts become things.
Mm.
And a lot of people are just, they wake up, they look at Instagram, they look at their calendar, they look at their email, they have their meetings, and they're getting their ass kicked at work. They spend no time designing and aligning
Mhm.
who they want to be. You become what you think about most of the time. But yeah.
So I know we're running a little bit low on time, so let's tap in. Let's design. Can you help me design
Mm-hmm.
perfect morning routine? Let's say, we've done like that. We can have a morning walk, we can have ice baths, whatever. But let's say we've got 20 minutes to do like journaling, meditation,
Mm-hmm.
visualization, all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
How would you design that? And would you do it daily, or would you do like one as a
Mm-hmm.
weekly thing?
Well, the thing I described, I do it pretty much every day, but it's called habit stacking. I do it when I go to the gym, when I'm in the sauna, or do it in the shower. Attach a habit that you already do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I want to finish being a target.
Oh, sorry, we're not finished there.
You got the identity is the bullseye.
Yeah.
You got habits, behaviors, number 2. Pinpoint those. The third ring is your environment. If you're trying to quit smoking, you shouldn't hang out with people who smoke.
Hmm.
So design an environment where it's conducive for you to activate your habits, behaviors, and your identity. So having mentors, having colleagues, having friends, having a podcast. Like, why would you not create an environment where you get to activate your identity and your habits and behaviors?
Hmm.
So I would say, yeah. So design your identity. Like, who are you? Pick words. Words are tools. Words are your wand. Identify 2 to 3 behaviors you commit to do daily. And then what environment are you going to create? Like, if you want to be fit, don't pick the gym that's 30 minutes away. Pick the gym that's 5 minutes away. If you want to be a great public speaker, get around great public speakers.
Mm.
Yeah. I'm being Captain Obvious again, but you would have that plan. Okay. So before I go, I got to go in like a few minutes, but I'm going to give you what I call the 4-minute mental workout.
All right.
Oh, you don't got 4 minutes, Jason?
I've
I
got
mean,
it.
you offered 20,
I've got all the
but
time,
like, I
mate.
don't think a lot of people can do 20. I'm just asking for 4.
Okay, yeah, yeah. I'm with you.
Yeah. So minute 1 is just to breathe. It's just to calm your nervous system, is to find your breath. That slow exhale tells your subconscious you're not in danger. It resets your nervous system. So much data on the effects of like present moment focus, parasympathetic, sympathetic nervous system. Like, it just breathing has been taught by the samurai. I mean, Navy SEALs.
Hmm.
If I can't sleep at night, I'll do what's called box breathing. I trace a box with my breath. So just get into your body, do a quick body scan, and just center yourself with your breath. And that can be a great rep. Like, because sometimes when we're performing, dog, I don't got 20 minutes. I got 30 seconds,
Mm-hmm.
but I've practiced this every day, how to find center. That's 1 minute. And then minute 2, 3, and 4 is what I call the HA method, HAW. I have, I am, I will. I have is around gratitude. Research by Cal Davis, Dr. Emmons found gratitude lowers cortisol by 30%, boosts your immune system, lowers inflammation, lowers blood pressure. Duke research, optimists and grateful people win more in business and in sports, they're more resilient, they make more money. I just got tons of data on gratitude. But it's kind of like me telling you to drink water. You know to drink water, but you don't do it. But the benefits are endless. Gratitude is like water for your brain. It's so obvious. That's why you don't do it. So my challenge to you is don't just think it, feel it. Feel abundance flow through every single part of your body in optimism and gratefulness. What's wrong is always available.
Would you
Yeah.
would you connect abundance with gratitude?
Yeah. I think they're all kind of in the same posse. Optimism,
Mm.
gratitude. I think gratitude is focusing on what you have now and what has led you here. I think optimism is like I'm predicting something good is going to happen to me. You know, like attracts like, abundance. Like we're good.
Mm.
Like we can find a way. Do things happen to me? Do things happen for me? Breathe. I have gratitude. I am is the minute 3 is confidence, conditioning, using words as tools. Every time Serena would change a set, she'd read her process goals and read her affirmations. Every time Michael Phelps would walk through a door frame, he'd give himself affirmations. There's a powerful clip of Ronaldo before he's doing a penalty kick, talking to himself why he's right for this moment.
I've not seen that.
Yeah.
That's
So,
cool.
but again, I work with like high level performers. We don't got 20 minutes. So you got 30 seconds to a minute before you step on stage or before you pitch that client or before you shoot a free throw or before there's a corner kick and you got 30 seconds to get in position to give a header to score a goal. Like you have time, you have 30 seconds. It begins before it begins. So we can start
Mm.
conditioning your identity. We can start conditioning confident self-talk. We can start conditioning, wiring optimal words, pictures, emotions, and beliefs. Last, I will is set your intention and visualize it. Worrying is visualizing what you don't want.
Worrying is visualizing what you don't want.
Mm-hmm. We kind of do that a lot, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
Is that thought true? Said by who? We are projecting events that aren't even real. But the brain and the body can't tell the difference. We're creating the same neural pathway when we imagine it as actually doing it. University of Chicago looked at free throw shooting and basketball. Group 1 visualized. Group 2 didn't do anything. Sorry, group 1 practiced shooting. Group 2 did nothing. Group 3 just visualized, didn't touch a ball. After that study, the group that practiced shooting increased their percentage by 24%. The group that did nothing, no improvement. The group that didn't touch a ball but visualized increased their percentage by 23%. Everything happens twice, first in our mind, then in real life.
Mm.
So why would we not condition actions, behaviors, experiences that we want to create? You're getting a rep. And then when you get out of that state of I'm present, I'm grateful, I believe, I can see what I want. The conscious brain is the goal setter, the subconscious is the goal getter.
Mm.
So now your brain kind of has a better framework or pictures or word or coding or direction on to get the thing that you are trying to create. Or let's reframe get. This is the science of becoming. Stop doing, start being. This is what we do. Like attracts like. So that's a morning drill.
That's cool.
Well, thanks, man. I had a great time, Jason. Hopefully you got some value today.
Yeah, this has been awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate you digging into all this stuff. I didn't expect it to go into a one-on-one session, but I appreciate it nonetheless. Where should people go if they want to check out your stuff?
My website is thecollinhenderson.com. Some online courses there. A podcast, Master Mindset Podcast, Tools Win the Inner Game. I've written 7 books and 2 journals. So go to Amazon and type in Collin Henderson books, 2 L's. Follow me on Instagram, on LinkedIn. Yeah.
Awesome. And I'll stick all that in the show notes for people, and I definitely encourage them to check it out. Thank you very much, mate, and hope you have a good day.
Yeah, well, I'm not done with you. What's one thing you're going to do different with your mindset based off of this?
What's one thing I'm going to do different?
Yeah, what's one action, whether it's identity or present moment focus or behavior or the Ha method?
Yeah, well, I was thinking, is it AHA method? Is it AHA? I've written down
HAW.
HAW.
Ah,
Yes,
it feels
have
weird, but it's kind of like getting vulnerable, like just releasing all that crap.
yeah, have will.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna do that because I'm good at my morning meditation and stuff, but I'm gonna figure out. So and then I'll have to do me 3 bullet target things, and then 3 non-negotiable habits, and then and then as one of those habits will be the I have, I am, I will.
Nice.
Yeah.
The Ha method. Aha. Yeah. That's good, man.
I actually I'm building a habits app at the moment, so it's sort of designed with like social accountability baked in. So it's like super visual, and you can follow people and stuff, and then you can kind of encourage people. So I'm working on that. That's another thing that I've been on
That's
with.
exciting. That's really cool. Good luck with
Yeah.
that.
Thank you. I'll
Well, thanks for having me. Yeah, thanks for having me.